You can go to the Grand Ole Opry, take a stroll down Music Road.
All right, welcome to Songwriter Workshop Tips from TSAI. Thanks for coming. Subject I have tonight, I want to talk about it. It's a pretty long one. So what we're going to do is break it into two parts. So there'll be a second part to this. What I want to talk about is there are three aspects, or kind of a three-legged stool to songwriting. We spend a lot of time on lyrics, and we spend some time on melody, but we don't spend a lot of time on rhythm. When we do critique nights, it's almost all about the critiques. And people, publishers, and when people are looking at your songs and they want a lyric sheet, they all talk about the lyrics, but I think the forgotten leg on that stool sometimes is the rhythm. Now, rhythm, if you think about it, is generated two different ways. One, obviously the band is playing a rhythm. But as songwriters, we're writing the song, we're not writing the production. So the other half of that rhythm comes from the lyrics. So when you are writing lyrics, I want you to think in terms of rhythm. Rhythm is generated as cadence. It's generated in when you start the line, what beat that line starts on, and so forth. So to begin with, I want you to think in terms of writing syllables, not words. Obviously, words matter and they paint the picture, and that's what we're writing, and so forth. But break that down into syllables. And one of the things that we say here in Nashville is don't accent the wrong syllable. So we hear that all the time. We hear a word that sounded like a good word, and maybe it was a great line, but the phrasing just doesn't work, and the cadence isn't right. So people are accenting the wrong syllable to stay on the beat, or if it's the third beat in every bar, that's going to go up or something. So I'm going to challenge you to think about that and rewrite those lines. Don't mispronounce words, and don't accent the wrong syllable in your words to make a point. It might be a great word, and if it is, then that's good, but rewrite the line so that it fits nicely in the cadence. Cadence is very important in your lyrics. And, even to the extent of taking it out into how they fit with the music. If you have, say, a shuffle, right? Most words in the English language, the accent is on the first syllable, but not all of them. So you have words like pretend and defend and so forth. So if you have a shuffle, maybe put those words in the shuffle, right? So the words are shuffling while the music is shuffling. And I want you to think about that, and think about the cadence of your lyric and make it fit. There's so many things to think about when it comes to lyrics. There's the words that you want to say, the story that you want to tell, and make sure that those words and those lines are constantly pointing at your title. Don't wander off talking about other things that don't make any sense with that song. But I want you to think about the cadence and when those syllables land and where they land, and build the song from that. It's easy to get caught up in a great line and then force it in where it might be okay, but it isn't great. I hear a lot of times, especially in the studio, someone will say, well, I really like that line and the singer can fix it. Don't ask the singer to fix your poor songwriting, okay? And then there are times when somebody will use a reference like some of the geniuses like Willie Nelson and Frank Sinatra and people that didn't sound like they were phrasing those songs right, or they just were making those things up. But trust me, they weren't. Those songs were written correctly. They could have been sung straight in rhythm, but a genius artist can do what they want. But it's much better if it's written to begin with correctly. And then let them create a pocket. Let them create their own atmosphere. But don't ask them to phrase something better because you didn't write it right the first time. So I want you to think about cadence. I want you to think about those syllables landing where they're supposed to land, and still paint the picture you want to paint, still be conversational, still make the message you want to make. But on top of that, you got to think about rhythm. And I want you to think about rhythm, everything that you do. Okay? So, thanks for coming.
You will hear some faded cowboys used to ride the old radio. and you will see some shooting starlets. Wonder why they shine so bright. I tell you, son, it ain't no secret. Songwriters helping writers down at TSAI. Bring your words